All right. All right.
Okay.
You heard that one? Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
hear that one. Normally, I don't hear anything. Let me shut that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
no,
what's
I
going
don't hear
on?
anything normally. All right, well, it's May the 30th, 1 o'clock. Welcome back to another edition of Live Feed Read. I'm Paul Reed, your host.
Yeah.
The Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson, Jason Crawford, appearing from Tallahassee.
Hey.
I hope your day's going well. So let's just jump in. There are three things kind of I want to talk about. The first one is I hate being right all the time. Now, that's not the topic. The topic was how I ended up in prison. But let's talk about how I am right all the time first. I believe at the beginning of the legislative session here in the state of Florida, the free kill bill, which is a medical malpractice bill that prevents doctors and hospitals and other medical providers from being held liable in certain wrongful death cases, and it's been on the books for a long time. And at some point there was enough outcry amongst enough people in the society or the citizens of the state of Florida that they were able to convince our House of Representatives and the Senate in the legislative body of the state of Florida to pass a bill that does away with it. And basically, if you're not married and you don't have a child under 25, if you're the victim of wrongful death, medical malpractice, the recovery is more or less limited to your funeral. All right. Well, people think, well, that's not fair. My daughter's 25, but I cannot recover, but my daughter's 24 and they can. So it made no sense. But anyway, it passed overwhelmingly. I mean, like 2 or 3 out of 100 in the House.
Nearly unanimous.
Nearly unanimous. So here's the joke and why I hate to be right all the time. Of course, DeSantis gets up there and he basically mimics what the insurance industry and the medical lobbyists were saying as a reason why he vetoed the bill, which he did yesterday. Okay. So you have to ask yourself, citizens of the state of Florida, it was almost a unanimous vote from the House and the Senate to pass the bill, right? Jason, what could they do with a stroke of their pens, basically?
Yeah, just undo the veto.
They could override DeSantis' veto and it would become law.
Right.
Are they going to?
Probably not.
No, because this was a joke from the beginning. Well,
it's an optics.
Hold on, we'll pass it for our constituents. The governor's out anyway. We'll let him veto it, and we wash our hands like Pilate did, or Herod did with Jesus.
Yeah.
What a crock. Anyway, once again, I hate being right all the time. So that's going to move on to our topic. How did I end up in prison?
Yeah.
Now, it's really how do you end up in prison?
Okay.
Let's just say that our listeners are nice people. They don't break the law. They're law-abiding citizens. They don't rob, steal, cheat, murder, kill, and otherwise, but they find themselves in front of a judge getting 15 to 30 years in prison, wondering, how did I get here?
Wow.
What made me think of this was yesterday's Tampa Bay Times. There's a headlines on page 2 or 3 that says, crash that killed 2, tow truck driver gets 30 years.
Tow truck driver. Okay. Oof.
You know why he got 30 years?
It must be something because
he was on his cell phone texting.
Ooh, yeah.
Hold on. Now, a few years ago, in Brooksville, nice enough guy, businessman, traveling down the interstate, going a little fast. He got prison as well. 15, 20, 30 years. 2023. Do you know why?
Because someone died.
He was on his cell phone.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So you people driving around out there that are on your cell phone thinking, this won't happen to me. It can't happen to me. It can. You're on your phone. I signed up a case yesterday. I have a Tesla was beside on one side of the street, and the person over here by Bloomingdale High School, Jason ran the light by about, let's see, 1001, 1002, 1003, about
Jeez.
5 seconds.
No.
Yeah, and it's on video. Now, do you think that that person was not on their cell phone?
There must be a reason. Like nothing
They were on
happens
their
without a
cell phone.
reason.
That's the reason. They're
Something.
they're sitting there
Yes.
texting, looking down, not paying
Well,
attention. Now, mind you, nice person in nice car.
yeah.
If you'd smoked a kid,
Yeah.
how I ended up in prison.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a great point. And I think to add to that, this is why I said, I don't know if they were, I don't know, I didn't read that one, so I don't know if they were on their phone or not. But I heard the conversations in the committee sessions this year where they were
Mhm.
talking about distracted driving, and they wanted to look at deeper reasons. I think it was Senator Martin, and I can't remember the other one. Um, I believe it might have been Collins, but it might
It
have been
doesn't
Williams.
matter. Come
Anyway,
on, come on, come on.
they were talking about expanding the definition of distracted driving and including all types of real distractions. Like we have screens that now you have to watch for this or that or manipulate while you're driving. They have stuff that they didn't have back then when they had radial knobs and other stuff. It was muscle
Sure.
memory to turn the volume up and down on something, but now you've got buttons everywhere and screens everywhere. You add another screen, or you add, you know, putting on makeup, not to target women, but this was just the conversation they were having.
Anyway, let's don't beat a dead horse. The,
It
the
was
topic was
interesting though to
how
see.
do I end up? They're not going to do anything.
Okay.
Okay. They're
Okay.
not going to do anything with the free kill bill. And you
Mm,
know what they also didn't do, which they didn't do anything with insurance, homeowners insurance,
mm,
auto insurance, nothing. They're just
mm,
it's just not going to happen. So
mm-hmm,
so and I
mm.
don't, I'm not gonna we're gonna move on past all that.
Okay.
But people, I'm telling you, first off, thank you, because the person that ran the red light crashed into my client, and unfortunately for her, she was hurt. Yeah,
Yeah.
her daughter was hurt. They went to the hospital via ambulance. Not good.
No, yeah.
Okay, but people on cell phones are probably 90% of the people why I have business. There's no explanation
Wow.
for rear-ending somebody while they're at a stoplight,
Yeah.
and there's not raining. It's not a
Yeah.
cloudy day. It's a beautiful day, and you just plow into somebody without hitting the brakes. You're on your cell phone. I got
Mm,
a video of a hit and run. I think we showed it a couple of weeks ago. That guy was drunk, so that's a little different. But there's only two
right.
explanations for why this behavior is happening. You're on your cell phone or you're intoxicated. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, you're out there driving and we all see them on the interstate, this and that and the other. If you hit the wrong
Mm-hmm.
person or you kill the wrong person and you get the wrong state attorney or you're in the wrong
Mm-hmm.
county, you'll ask yourself, how did I end up in prison?
Yeah.
I got news for you. You don't want to end up in prison for using your cell phone and driving. But that's how you good people will end
Yeah.
up in prison, is just that way. Because I got to be honest, the government and the state attorneys and the police, they're getting tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so more
Yeah.
people are getting charged with significant felonies, manslaughter, vehicular
Mm-hmm.
manslaughter, for killing people while you're on your cell phone. So look, I just say that to say, put
Mm-hmm.
it down. That's all. Put it
Yeah.
down.
Yes.
And that whoever's calling you, you can call them back. It's not going to happen, Jason. You know it, and I know it. But if one person watches this podcast, you've been warned.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. So that's how you do it. I hope you listen. I hope you just put the phone down, and that way you don't end up in prison. Because remember, people, walk outside. You here in Florida watching, walk outside and sit in that sun,
Mm-hmm.
and then think 15 years in a concrete building with no air conditioning. That is your life.
Mm.
Florida prisons do not have air conditioning.
You
So,
know, you
or go or turn your AC off tonight, go to bed, keep all your windows and doors shut, and see how you feel and how you sleep and how you wake up. And
yeah.
imagine doing that for 30 years for the rest of your life.
You raise a good point. I think that we're deeply in a habit of doing things without counting the costs. I mean, we sign up and click check boxes for social media without thinking about the data that we're giving away or the what's on the other end of that agreement. And it is an agreement. And I just think that we're in a very kind of like numb habit of doing things without really truly considering the impact and the cost or what it could cost me this kind of line of doing. And I think that's a great thing to kind of think. You know, there are some people who are like, when they get in the car, they just put it in the center console. They miss a call, they miss a call. They miss a text, they miss a text. They'll get it when they get there.
Yeah.
And I think that's a valid way of looking at it. You know, like it could cost you and others deeply.
Right.
It's
All
worth
right. Well,
looking
anyway,
at.
not to beat
Yeah.
a dead horse, but it just,
All right.
how did I end up in prison? And for, you
Yeah.
hardworking, law-abiding parents, your mothers, fathers,
Yeah.
imagine that you're just poof, you're just gone
Yeah.
because you're sitting there and you see you're sitting there doing this.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? You say this all the time. You say this all the time. You don't do car accidents. You do car crashes. Like it doesn't just happen to you.
Yeah, there's no
You
such
made a
thing-
choice.
There's no such thing as a car accident.
Yeah, you make a choice.
Yeah.
And that choice
Yeah,
has an impact. Sometimes an impact two people feel.
Right. And if you haven't read my book, there's there's a section in there that says why I never turn off my phone. That's a friend of mine. I've known him 50 plus years. Now, his was a DUI situation. But if you read the story, you'll see that basically he was not condoning drinking and driving, you know. But if you knew the facts of the case, which are in the book, he was literally at the wrong place at the wrong time. Just that simple.
Yeah.
If you're on your cell phone at the wrong place at the wrong time, that's how you end up in prison.
Yeah.
Because
and the book,
without going into great detail, statistically speaking, texting and driving or being on your cell phone is more dangerous than drinking and driving or trying to drive when you're intoxicated. Because I've said this before.
Yes.
At least the intoxicated individual, not condoning it, they're trying to stay on the road and watch the road and stay between the lines. If you're on your cell phone and you're looking down and texting, and everybody out there has seen this, you're not even trying.
Yes. I think it was a Forbes article that pointed out it's 6 times more dangerous than driving while intoxicated.
That's why I have my statistician here, Ed McMahon.
You're welcome.
All right, well, listen,
let me add this real quick.
No.
The book is called The Other Side of the Law. It is available on Amazon. So if you haven't had a chance to get a copy, you really should. Like it's filled with a lot of they're not just like cases and like dum, you know.
Yeah, no, I was looking through it and I forget everything Crystal and I talked about for 6 months and what we wrote down and stuff. So it's I was like, holy crap, I forgot this. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
On and on. If you get it, great. If not, well, if you're not a book reader, I get it. But it's pretty cool. Yeah. It's really pretty funny.
It's got some great entertainment and it's got some cool cases.
A little insight on old Pollywog here. That's my grandma called me Pollywog.
Yeah. A little redneck humor. Love that too. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
You polish up well though, so that's good.
Thank you very much. I have a nice singer too. All right. Well, listen. Let me let's sign off. Say goodbye.
All right.
Like I said, May 30th. Hurricane season starts in a couple of days. Let's hope that we're spared. And that's about all you can do. Otherwise, once again, Jason, if you haven't watched the podcast, Crystal is expecting their 74th child.
Oh my word.
Jason, although Jason's not Catholic, he's more Catholic in that department than Catholics. And so congratulations with that. And take us out.
You got it. Yeah.
Reed and Reed, it's like having a lawyer in the family.